If you're trying to create a better life for yourself, if you're trying to find some growth and you're stepping on this path of self-realization, you want to have more experiences in life, you don't want to be stuck at home just overstimulating yourself with your habits all day. You want to be out and about, you want to meet more people, you want exciting relationships, you want more money, you want to find your passion and get paid to talk about the things that interest you. I mean, if you're either on this path now or you desire to, you really want to, then hang around, because I'm going to talk about how I've been able to do it myself. I mean, it kind of started like 10 years ago now when I started listening to Joe Rogan podcasts, and I listened to a bit of Alan Watts on YouTube, and I was kind of mesmerized by this idea that you can do what you want in life. My conditioning told me otherwise. I wasn't even aware of the conditioning that I had, that the stories in my head that were telling me, no, you got to, I was working a 9-to-5 job. I was very stressed, taking a lot of drugs, drinking a lot, and it was a very toxic work environment. I had no boundaries. I wasn't able to tell people not to treat me in the way that they did, especially my boss, who wasn't a very nice person. I mean, deep down he was, I can see, but he had his own issues. I didn't know that there was a way out of that. I just thought, this is the way things are. And then when you have that little realization, that, call it awakening, where you can see that there's something new to create in your life, I started slowly taking steps towards that, which for the majority of the time was trying to fix myself, because I saw myself as broken. So if you currently find that maybe you're not taking the necessary steps that you know you could be taking towards creating a better life for yourself, and like I say, however that better life looks, whatever it is, if you're still believing the stories that tell you you're not ready, you've got to fix yourself, you've got to make yourself better in some way, then you're not ready. That the fact that you're listening to those stories and believing them is kind of reaffirming that you're not ready yet. And when I say you're not ready, I mean it because that's what you think and feel. So you're not, because you're not ready to move forward if you're still believing the stories and you're still buying into the conditioning that you have. Now, if you were to start, instead of like seeking all the time, right? The seeking is what does it for us. The seeking puts us in survival mode. This has been known for thousands of years. Buddhism teaches this, and many other spiritual schools, is that the seeking, the looking for the next thing that's going to make us feel good, that is what puts us into survival mode. I mean, it literally triggers our sympathetic nervous system, the part of the nervous system that's responsible for fight or flight. The constant seeking, so the next video, next video, next video, next post, the next app to look at, right? The notifications. I've been caught in that. The notifications that come up on YouTube that have these comments where people are saying, thank you so much for your videos, they're amazing, and it's just like, oh, that feels so good to receive. But it's that seeking of it that is taking me out of my body and into my head, right? The seeking from up here. This is where we go to when we don't feel safe. And we're needing something outside of ourselves to complete us, but we never get there. We never find that fulfillment or completion, because it's all just linked to dopamine, right? And when we get the thing that we think we need to survive, the dopamine cuts off. So when you catch the animal that you were chasing in order to survive back in the day, once you got the animal, you didn't need the dopamine, you already had the animal. So it disappears, and that's kind of partly why we never really find any satisfaction. But these are the lifestyle choices we're making that's stopping us moving forward on our path. And it's what stopped me for so long. I mean, I could talk for hours about how I sabotaged my growth, because I always knew that I was meant for more somehow. I never really liked to admit it, because I found it a bit awkward and people didn't receive it too well, because it kind of sounds like you got some kind of like messiah complex, but it's not that I saw myself as better than anyone else. I just, well, sometimes I probably did, but that was just my ego trying to protect myself, right? That's what we do in order to try and seek more safety outside of ourselves, is to either put ourselves above others or put ourselves below. I would mostly put myself below other people. That was kind of my patterning, and it can still come up now and again, right? So when you can see that your lifestyle's creating the fear and the scarcity and the survival responses that are actually sabotaging your growth and stopping you moving forward, now you're in a better position to do something about it, to stop them. But if you're not clear on where you're going, if you don't have a clear path, if you're not clear on your direction, on your mission, then when the urges come up that get you to do more seeking, more scrolling, more whatever, you're going to choose the short-term gain, right? The little hits of dopamine spikes, the little pleasurable things that we think we're getting, even though it's draining our energy and making things worse for ourselves. We're choosing that because it's more desirable than our mission, than our purpose, because we're not clear yet on our purpose. So the first step is to have something, your mission, purpose, whatever, be clear on something that you want. So when the urges come up, you're like, no, not now. This is taking me away from my path, right? This isn't going to help me. And the more you can connect with your future self and do the little manifestation techniques that I teach in a lot of these videos, like really getting to connect with the version of you that's living the life you want to be living, working out, okay, how does that guy walk through the world? How does he think, walk, talk? How does he shit? How does he communicate with others? I mean, you could literally just start stepping into, like in your imagination, you could like close your eyes and picture that future self in front of you that's living that life you want, and just step into him and look around, look at the clothes he's wearing, look at how he communicates with others, look at how other people feel in his presence. I mean, there's just so much stuff you can do to start bringing that version of you into the now, because that's what you got to do. Till you bring it into the now, it's not going to start happening, right? The one thing to remember is that it's really very normal to choose habits and addictions over bettering your life. And like I say, it's something I did for so long. So I'm not suggesting that in previous videos I've said a lot of the time, you got to do this, you got to do that, and I've been a bit pushy with my energy. But if I were to be real with you guys, I see now that, not everyone's ready to make those changes and do those things, and sometimes often pushing yourself isn't helping, and it doesn't really help me so much as well. It can really like bring up more stress if I'm like forcing myself to do something that I'm not ready to do. So yeah, go easy on yourself. You're doing fine. Everything's working out exactly as it should do in order to get you where you need to go, even if you think it doesn't. I remember this time last year when I was deep in my addictions and habits, like really overstimulating myself with just so much shit, like so much junk food and sugar and coffee, smoking a lot of weed, smoking cigarettes, so much scrolling on my phone. I mean, had so much activation, so much stress in my nervous system, wasn't sleeping well, had body aches, shoulder aches. I mean, it was all coming out of my lifestyle, and I knew deep down that in some way this was helping me, like, to go into it, because I see now how it's really helping me help others who are caught in it. But the thing is, with a lot of people I speak to who are caught in it, you give them things to do to get out of it, but they don't want to. Like, there's a reason why they're in it, right? They're stuck in it. And if you start bringing calm to an activated body, that body's going to start thinking that maybe if danger comes around the corner, then I'm not going to be able to survive unless I'm stimulated, unless I'm alert, unless I'm ready for something. And that's partly why we like to stimulate ourselves. It's because of that. I also just think we slowly fall into these overstimulating patterns over time. So if I think back to when I'm 42 now, if I think back to when I was 19, travelling around Australia, I didn't really have any bad habits. Like, I mean, we didn't have phones, right? The technology wasn't there yet. And yeah, I mean, I like fast food now and again, but it wasn't in an obsessive manner that it started to be later on in life. Yeah, I like to drink now and again, but I wasn't hooked on the drinking. Don't even think I was hooked on, maybe I was addicted to smoking back then, but yeah, like I really feel the technology is what's just drawing us out of our heads. When we're stressed, we get drawn out of the technology is putting us in our heads. It's drawing us out of our body. Stress draws us out of our body. So when we're activated up here, it's when we're in a state of fear, right? If you want to start feeling, okay, spirituality can be seen as just feeling better, as in feeling good. The better we feel, there's levels to how good we can feel, right? It goes up and up and up and up and up and up. And so where you're at now, even if you think you feel good, and I'm not saying you don't, but there's always higher levels to explore. There's always higher, better ways in which we can feel good, and it's all to do with basically how open our heart is. The more open our hearts are, the better we feel. Now, our hearts can only open to the level at which we feel safe. And safety comes from the nervous system. The safety is the vagus nerve. That's what we need to stimulate in order to start bringing more safety to our body, so our hearts can open and we can feel happier. And in that, we have more freedom to step towards our goals because we feel safe. If you're not stepping towards your goals, it's time to get clear and real with yourself. It's because you don't feel safe. Your unconscious doesn't feel safe. I mean, logically, you know you're not going to get hurt when you step towards your goals, but your unconscious doesn't know that because of all the programming it's had literally since birth. Most of us don't live in societies that promote going after your dreams, right? It's all about fitting in, following the rules, doing what you're told. And we carry that as adults. And that's why it's not so easy for a lot of us. So go easy on yourself. Try and not give yourself such a hard time. And if you have to give yourself a hard time, just see if you can accept that as well, instead of beating yourself up for beating yourself up. Follow if you want to hear more videos that are going to help you step towards what you want in life. I hold a weekly workshop every Thursday. It's totally free. I want to start getting to know some of you. It's open to anyone who wants to join. I'll put the link in the description. Thank you so much for all the support, by the way. Like, I really appreciate all of you for watching my videos. Please do put some words down in the description, in the comments section. Just helps the channel grow. Please like, subscribe and share to anyone you think would benefit from my videos. Thanks very much.